hours.
That boy crazy.
They shouldn't be sleeping more than 4 hours. Nobody in California sleeps more than 4 hours. And you got to be diligent, man. You got to be diligent. And if he got there, you know what I'm saying, maybe, you know what I'm saying, that's his formula. That's his formula. I ain't mad at it. I've done it for less. Let me tell you that. I've done 4 hours of sleep a day for extremely less. Extremely less money.
Because really a lot of the time that you have it's chilling.
Yeah, you kicking
But
back.
there's the one that's taking their time to actually produce something versus watching TV or drinking or whatever.
Right.
The other ones are saying, oh, I don't have no time, I can't do it. Yeah, but what are you doing during those other hours? Are you chilling? So if he chooses to use it productively, and you chooses to drink or to chill, then does that make you who's the better person? The one who chills or the one who works during that chilling time and then just sleeps when he needs to sleep?
When he needs to sleep, right.
But that go back to what's your priority and what's your goal.
Right.
Because if you claim that if you seeking riches and fame, then that chilling, that work is priority. But if you don't care about that,
Right.
if you are either comfortable in your current situation, then chilling is more important. You understand what I'm saying? Your peace of mind and that relaxation is more important. So it depends on who you and your angle. You know what you're trying to get to.
Right.
But that still depends on when the situation happens where, I don't know, your car breaks down or something happens, $2,000. You have that.
You jacked
chilling.
You jacked up
See
chilling.
what I'm saying? It's one thing to chill and to say I enjoy chilling. It's another thing when something goes down and you're trying to figure out how to have your money up to take care of those things that you've been chilling.
Or to get to the go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Or to get to the ultimate chilling, which is the ultimate chilling is retirement.
Right.
Absolutely.
Is to not have to
Work
no more.
Exactly.
And you want to retire as soon as possible.
Exactly.
And so, like, and like I say, it's still, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? But for me, I'd rather suffer as much as I'd rather suffer now while I'm young than to die working. I don't want to die working.
Exactly.
And I've
But
seen
the way this society is built, man, you got to work till you're 65. Life expectancy is 81, 84 years old. So you working till you die. Basically, you just working to have about 10 years of chilling. That's the plan. That's the blueprint of how it's set up right now.
Right.
You got to work till you're 65. God forbid you didn't work a super strenuous job where your back is out or your knee is jacked up, so you can't really walk around and enjoy yourself. So you pretty much working, slaving 65 of your years to be able to enjoy 10 of them.
That's if you play it. If you play it the base level,
Right.
But if you go extreme, you know what I'm saying? If you go extreme, like you have a lot of these new, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what they call them, Generation Z or whatever.
Little millennials.
Little millennials who, you know what I'm saying, who are, you know what I'm saying, they are living in Manhattan. They be making a certain amount of money. They be making six, you know what I'm saying, figures, maybe making $500,000 a year. At, you know what I'm saying, some major law firms or something like that. But they will eventually stack their money together. Say two married lawyers game together, they probably be, you know what I'm saying, sharing, just renting a room in Manhattan or renting a room somewhere close to their jobs, and then eventually stacking their bread to a point where they just leave the firm completely and, you know, buy an RV and just say, man, we just finna travel the world and play it like that, and they be 30 something years old and retire. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I ain't say Jake ain't. Nah, Jay ain't. But we can't think. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake is a bad mismanager.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're just thinking about just, you know what I'm saying, managing ourselves, getting ourselves completely out of debt, staying out of debt, and then you know what I'm saying, you having that because you need $250,000 to retire now. You need $250,000.
That ain't. Yeah, I guess.
And so, but that ain't.
And then also you have to think of generational wealth
for your
kids,
for
not
your,
just for yourself. And
right.
Fend for yourself. When I die, you know, hey, they have
you got to do it too, just like I did, right?
The reason that the whites and the blacks who do it certain ways, because they want to pass. Like for example, my sister, she's dating a guy. He has businesses all over the place, gold and whatever here and there, but he's doing everything for his kids. He doesn't drive anything special per se. He can pretty much buy anything he wants, but he doesn't. He's low key, but he's doing it and getting all that so that when he dies, that his kids are well taken care of. His apartment buildings that he owns and different things, so that his kids will be taken care of, and they can keep it in the family and keep growing, because you can't really have power if you just don't have anything. That's just the bottom line. And if we're going to build ourselves as a nation, you got to have funds to build yourself as a nation. You just can't do it. Everybody is broke.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And can't keep starting from zero.
Right.
We can't keep having generation after generation start from zero, start with nothing. And so, and again, it just all comes down to bad management. And I know I got a class called discipline. Discipline, it you know what I'm saying, brings freedom. The discipline is what's going to bring you your freedom to get out of this captivity, because a lot of us are in this, we in this captivity, and we complain about the things that are going on that these people are doing to us, etc. But we don't have the discipline to do it ourselves. Just like the police situation with the Breonna Taylor thing, we do have the resources to have our own police departments in whatever city we at. We do have the resources. If we didn't have the resources, then the money wouldn't. Our taxes already pay for the police anyway. All right, and so I've seen people talk about, well, the next solution, you know what I'm saying, we need to be, gunning up trying to shoot the police. We went from protesting and marching to now we just need to protect ourselves, shoot the police, instead of becoming police officers, instead of raising ourselves up to be police officers, taking responsibility, and putting our children to police our own neighborhoods, etc. And if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to play it, but that's what the white supremacists do. They give their kids badges and guns. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to, just like you got the black militias with the guns and etc., get them in the police department. You want to patrol? They would just patrol. They had, NAFAC was just here this week at the that little theater, 3D church right here on Panola at the intersection.
Oh, really?
You know where that's at? You don't know? Right here, Covington, Panola, the intersection.
Okay, I know that intersection.
You miss it. It's a theater in there. It's a church now though.
On the right side over there?
Yeah, on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah, they was over there this week for a funeral. You know what I'm saying, protecting the neighbor, protecting, I guess, Panola Road, I guess, you know what I'm saying, with assault rifles, out there for a black party. A dude from a black party, I guess the leader of the black party, new black party, Panther Party, he died. They had the funeral services there. But you can do that on a greater scale if you went, you know what I'm saying, and became actual police officers and try to change that social norm within, from the inside out. Or if you don't want to do that, then set up your own police department where you go to the city and you get men trained, you get women trained, and this all got to be paid for by you. You know what I'm saying? You get the vehicles, etc. You can do that. Stonecrest ain't got about 3 cars. Stonecrest as a city don't have about 3 cars. Avondale, which is considered one of the safest cities in America, within the last decades, they done won a couple times. And we know when we go through Avondale, You know, you need to slow down. You know what I'm saying? They got civilian police car, but it ain't but 3-4 police cars. You see what I'm saying?
It's hard to do that with $5.
But you ain't finna do that with you ain't finna do that with $5. You ain't finna do that. And that's why I'm saying we mismanaging our resources, and then we want these people just to, you know what I'm saying, take care of us, police us, but do it the way we want them to do it instead of us doing it ourselves at the same time. But let's go ahead with the steward. Luke 16, verse 1. This is the parable of the unjust steward.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 1. And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man, which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods.
All right, he had a rich man, had a steward, and the steward has been the rich man has been told that your steward, your manager, is wasting your goods. Keep going.
And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward.
All right, so give an account of what you've done. How have I heard this thing about you? I trusted you. I need the records. I need to see everything that you done did. Keep going.
Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship.
All right, so this manager is wondering what he needs to do, because he don't want to go back to hard labor. He's a manager. He want to keep that status, and he done lost his job. But in losing his job, he still the rich man still tells him to go give me an account. Let me know everything that I'm missing. You fired, but go ahead and give me an account for everything that all the companies that I'm dealing with. Let them know what they owe me. Keep going.
My Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig. To beg I am ashamed.
He said, I cannot dig, and to beg I am ashamed. Keep going.
I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses.
All right, so I know what I need to do. That when I'm done with this, when I get fired, I know that, you know what I'm saying, some of these people may let me work for them.
So he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him, and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, take thy bill and sit down quickly and write 50.
All right, so he cut the man's bill in half. All right, so he's finna take this back to the rich man. Keep going.
Then said he to another, and how much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said unto him, take thy bill and write 80. And the Lord commanded the unjust steward, because he had done wisely, for the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light.
So we got to, and this is a hard parable to understand. It says the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. Now this unjust steward has really stolen from the rich man.
Right.
All right, he's stolen from the rich man. He told the oil, you know what I'm saying, you owe 100, give me 50. The what is the measure of wheat?
100 measures of wheat.
100 measures of wheat, right? He told him write down what, 4 score, which is 80.
Oh, four scores 80. Okay.
All right, and then so we see that why is Yahweh calling this man, commending this man, saying that he had done wisely. Keep going. It says, for the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. Keep going.
And I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when ye fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitation. He that is faithful in that which is least, is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much.
So what Yahweh is commending him on is the fact of his craftiness to save himself within the ways of the world. And as children of light, we don't use that same level of craftiness to save ourselves to salvation. We don't use that same level of craftiness to keep ourselves managers of our stable, or managers of what, you know what I'm saying, what the Most High has allotted us. And even you know what I'm saying, I did a class called Keep That Same Energy. The things that we do for the world, the sacrifices that we make for jobs, we don't make those same sacrifices for the work of the Lord. We don't make those same sacrifices. We make those. We'll go to work dead tired. We'll go to work and then sleep yesterday at all. But we won't do that for the Most High. So we see that in this that the ways of the world, the children of the world and their generation is wiser than the children of light. Where we at, verse 11?
If therefore ye have not been faithful in thy unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches?
All right, and so you know what I'm saying. In he that is unfaithful in that which is least is going to be faithful in much. So if you diligent and faithful in the least amount of things, or the small matters, when the Most High is going to be able to trust you with greater riches, if you manage those things properly. But if you spoil those things, then he's not going to trust you with true riches. Keep going.
And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own?
All right, and if you're not faithful with that is your own. You know what I'm saying? If you tore up your money, if you wasted your money, I'm not finna give you mine.
Right. Chapter 13.
Or the opposite. You know what I'm saying? If you blew another man's money, who shall give you that which is your own? Keep going.
13. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
You had something up?
Yeah, I was. You go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I seen you at the last second though.
Ye cannot serve God and man and mammon.
You cannot have two masters. You can't serve God and the mammon. Keep going.
And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him.
All right, so he was taking quick shots at the Pharisees at the same time. You had something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, being a steward. I mean, when you watch people, you can see who's a steward and who's not. When you're around them, you can see who leaves junk everywhere, or blah blah blah, and you kind of know, okay, well, they don't take care of their personal space, then they probably are not good stewards. It's an automatic thing. Don't think that you're not taking care of your surroundings around you. You got junk everywhere, and then but you're a good steward. I don't have to see everything else. I can just see very little, and I can know how good of a manager of your money or a steward of stuff is based off of seeing how you interact. If you got trash everywhere, whatever, it's going to tell you about the person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when it's
by his countenance.
Especially when it's again with somebody else's on somebody else's property.
Right.
Because really, when you're dealing with somebody else's property, or you around other people, you tend to have your guard up to try to be, even better than you really are. That's the natural thing. Is you're gonna really try to be on good behavior because it ain't yours, or it's your first time meeting a person, etc. Or you're around strangers. You don't want to be seen in that manner, in that light, and when you do, do things like that, and give yourself a bad look, even in the midst of strangers, even on somebody else's property, then that shows that you probably even worse at the house. You know what I'm saying? You probably even do it even worse at your own home. There was a point when I was, dabbling hard in the streets, and had a trap house, or whatever, and I wasn't a good steward in that house because I didn't really care that much about that house. But I was paying, it was a house that I was paying rent at. I wasn't living there, but it was still a house I was paying rent at. At one point I was. But we was kicking a bobo, and I watched a brother dump the ashes right on the floor. Boom. And it hit me a little bit like, man, what you doing? You not outside. But how everything was managed kind of seemed like he was outside. Ashtrays flipped over, the carpet's all dirty, you know what I'm saying? And so he kind of just went in with the flow of things, you know what I'm saying? There's trash everywhere, you know what I'm saying? It's a trap. He just dumped it on the floor, you know what I'm saying? And then, at that point I was like, man, let me clean this place up. But I never forget that. I never forget, because I didn't take care of something, that people around would do the same thing also. So that's just another example. But that's exactly what this parable is going into. And again, it's a hard parable. A lot of people will miss that within that parable. You also had a parable of the 10 talents dealing with management. Matthew 25.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability.
Unto his several ability, everyone to their ability. Gave 1 5, 1 2, 1 1. Keep going.
And straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them another 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and bought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained besides them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant.
Thou good and faithful servant. We seen earlier, he that is faithful in the least things will be definitely faithful when he has more. Keep going.
Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
And so it's important, even when you have those few things, to be diligent and to be faithful, like there is more. You know what I'm saying? To bring order, to manage those things properly. Keep going.
He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou givest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast thine, that in thou is thine.
There thou hast that is thine.
There thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gathered where I have not strawed.
So he called him slothful. He called him slothful for hiding that talent and not investing it, and not being a faithful steward or manager of that talent. Go ahead, Doc.
And that reminds me, sometimes I remember I used to look at stuff and say, you may see someone that is well off, and they may go like a Michael Jackson or whatever. They'll go to a restaurant, they give it to them for free. I'm like, give it to me. I don't have anything. Why you give it? What you let Michael Jackson in for free, or let this person in? They got money, millions of dollars. I don't have anything. Then you gonna charge me or tell me I can't come in? But you see what I'm saying? But they've been good stewards of their money, so people will give them more money because a lot of times they're good stewards with the money that they have outside of fame and all that kind of stuff too. The main reason, but I'm saying that we have a tendency of thinking because we don't have anything, people should give to us. But they may give to someone who's rich, and you're like, why would they give to them when I'm broke and I can use the money more than they can use it? But they are good stewards, and they don't want to give their money over to someone who is not a good steward of their money. You see what I'm saying? But you don't think like that. You like, but I'm broke and this guy got $1 million. Why don't you send me? And you get mad at him because he won't help you, and he's helping somebody that's already doing well because he see that person is going to take it and do even better, and they don't want to give it to you when you're going to just go and drink and smoke with it.
Right.
And say I don't care about whatever. I'm just living life. They don't want to give their money over to someone that's living life. You see what I'm saying? They want to give their money over to somebody that's going to increase it, open up 3 more businesses, and they say, yeah, okay, I gave the money to them, and they increase. This person I gave the money to, and all he did was spent it all on some Nike shoes and everything, and that's all he did with it. So I don't want to give that to him. So they look at people, successful people rather give to another successful person than give it to someone on the bottom, because they know that person's just going to be like, oh, I don't care, I'm not, easy come, easy go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. Even to add on, even poor people will give their money to rich people.
Right.
They'll rather give it to rich people. They'd rather give it to TD. That's why TD Jakes may not even like designer clothes, but he wears them and drives the nice cars because of the psyche of a lot of times, more underprivileged people. They want to know that the money that they're giving, that you're not living off the money. That's why a lot of scammers, like your Umar Johnson and Brother Polite, they'll dress up and they'll rent certain vehicles, make it seem Jay Morrison brother ended up being a big scammer, where he acted like he was this great celebrity real estate guy.
Right.
And he do these things and pay for these interviews just so people can give, and then people will buy into that, because it's like wearing a business suit to a job interview. You know what I'm saying? We used to dress like that. We used to wear, to go to the bank to get a loan, you used to have to dress nice. You know what I'm saying? You used to have to dress nice. And that showed the bank that, maybe this joker, he a businessman, he may know what to do with this money. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's still, that psyche still is in play today. A lot of people don't want to give you any money if they feel like if joker ain't finna be living better than me off my donations. You know what I'm saying? And so once they see that you're a good steward, then they're more susceptible to, giving you.
Or he don't need my money because he already has.
Because he already got it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just kind of just doing this just to, you know what I'm saying? But that and the scammers know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have, you see countless videos on YouTube. Hey man, you want to make $1 million? You know how I did this? They coming out their house and they got this big $1 million house and they got the nice Ferraris and stuff, and they giving you this little game plan about, and they don't own none of that stuff. But they have to show you that to buy you in to get your $5. It's just $5. But if they get, what I'm saying, a million people to do that, but they play on that. Keep going. Where you at, Doc?
27. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchanges, and then at my comings I should have received mine own with usury.
You should have put my money with the exchanges. I could have got the taxes off of it. I could have got the interest. Keep going.
Take therefore the talent from him, and give it to him which had 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath.
Even that which he had, because even in those small things, he was not a faithful steward. And then even that the brother with the 5, that flipped it to 10, he even was given the one that he was held on to, and so he would have more abundance. Keep going.
And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
That's all I wanted.
Okay.
Let's go to Luke chapter 19. We'll see it in Luke. We're not going to read all of it. I just wanted to read those first 2 verses, Luke 19, 12 and 13. And we'll see what you're supposed to have been doing until he came.
Luke 19. This is the book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 12. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom, and to return. And he called his 10 servants, and delivered them 10 pounds, and said unto them, occupy till I come.
He said unto them, occupy until I come. Keep going.
But his citizens hated him, and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading.
But that's all I wanted.
Okay.
All I wanted was the occupy till I come. And Luke had like another little spin on it. But it's still like the same story. But the occupy till I come, that rich man, that nobleman went off to a far country, and he told those servants to occupy till he returns, not sit around and kick the bobo, but be diligent in the work. Let's look at Luke chapter 12 verse 41.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 41. Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all?
He said, you speaking this parable to us, or you talking to everybody?
And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward?
Who is a faithful and wise steward? Faithful and steward just mean manager. Keep going.
Whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season.
All right, make ruler over his household, make manager over his household. His Lord makes him a ruler, manager, a CEO, to give them portions of meat or food in their due season. Keep going.
Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
Shall find so doing. And Joseph was a manager of the Egyptians, of Pharaoh's resources. Once he was able to interpret that dream, he made him a manager over all the crops that were coming in for that 7 years of good crops, good harvest. And in the 7 years of the famine to come, he was able to manage that properly, and was a great steward, was a great manager of resources. That's another great example of management. Was Joseph during that famine. Keep going.
44. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink and to be drunken, the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion, with the unbelievers.
All right, so this is a two-layered parable, and we know that you know what I'm saying, eventually was telling them before you know what I'm saying, be watchful from 35 until 40, always being watchful for the return of the Lord. And we see here that once that Lord returns, he will cut them in sunder and appoint them portion with the unbelievers. All right. But at 45, and if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth in his coming. And so when he delayeth in his coming, that's just showing you a reason for a lack of restraint. You know what I'm saying? He delayeth in his coming, so now we can kick the bobo. Now I can beat the men servants and the maidens, which is a form of mismanagement. And I can eat and drink and to be drunken. All right, we you know, banqueting and reveling. Keep going.
The Lord, 47.
47.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes.
All right, because he knew the Lord will. We knew what we supposed to be doing. We knew we supposed to be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. We knew we supposed to be in order. All right, he shall be beaten. Keep going.
But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes.
And those who didn't know, they still gonna get whooped. But they ain't gonna be as beaten as much as the person who knows that they're supposed to be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep going.
For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required.
Of much is given shall be much required. Keep going. They use that in did they use that in Spider-Man? Is that the verse? I think that much power is given. Yeah, on Spider-Man. Yeah.
And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
All right, and they will ask the more. For unto whom much is given, much is required. All right, much is required. Let's look at Galatians, not till you ready. Galatians chapter 4 and verse 1. I think this is, if this is not the last slide, maybe the second to last.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all.
And it says, now the heir. The heir is he pretty much no different than the servant, as long as he is a child. As he's a child, he differs because he ain't. Until he has fully grown, until he's matured, he doesn't get that inheritance. He doesn't get the reign. Keep going.
But is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father.
Until the time appointed of the Father. All right, so he's going to be not until that child is ready, even though that child is heir, not until that child is ready will it become any different than the steward or the, not the steward, but the servant. And that child is going to be under the governors and the tutors until his father actually wants to appoint him. And so sometimes we, you know what I'm saying, we had to understand that we gotta be mature. We gotta, you know what I'm saying, until we go to that next step. The Most High is not gonna promote us until we show some maturity in the time appointed by the Father. Deuteronomy 8 and 2.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
All right, whether we would keep his commandments or not. We was led in the wilderness 40 years so that we can be humbled and be tested to see if we were ready for the promised land. And most of our, you know what I'm saying, most of the mentality of our elders were not ready, so they had to die off in that wilderness to that next generation who had a different mindset, who, you know, was, you know, raised on manna, raised on, you know what I'm saying, the Most High's actually providing for them. They were able to go into the promised land and to be strong, because it was a lot of burdens even in that promised land. And, you know, again, the prodigal son was another example. That was pretty much it. That was the last slide. Anybody had anything to add? Anything else they wanted to bring out? Any other issues, concerns?